Okay, this is the Sega Genesis 2. This was the smaller model, very sleek. Obviously that's the expansion port for the disastrous CD. And this is how it looks next to the original Sega Genesis. You can see a lot smaller, a lot sleeker. And also lower, if you can see. Now, this is when it all began to change. This is the JVC Xeye. This played Sega Genesis cartridges and CDs with no need for an add-on. This is how it should have been from the beginning, but at least they finally had the hindsight to do this. Really nice looking system. Now, this is how the JVC Xeye looks next to the Sega Genesis. I mean, it's bigger, but it's still sleeker looking, and it plays CDs. So I really loved playing the JVC Xeye. Okay, now here's the Total Control 4 handheld system with the hockey unit on it. You see, it looks like a totally different system depending on what you're playing. Now just look at Coleco. I mean, how innovative can that be? I mean, look at this. Just an incredible looking system. And the ability to have interchangeable playing fields. Can you imagine that? And that's how it looks next to the Sega Genesis. And despite the fact that these old handheld systems were large, they were actually very easy to handle, believe it or not. You can see how large this is compared to the Sega Genesis. Look at this though. Very, very easy to handle. And to give you an idea of the type of innovation by ColecoVision, this was their roller ball. And unlike Atari that also came out with a rollerball, this had games that were specifically for that purpose. So you could have games, I believe Slither was one of them, where you could really use that rollerball to its fullest extent. And to give you an idea of how big this is, here's how it looks next to the Sega Genesis. That's a pretty wild device, huh? Now, here's the Sears Video Arcade 2. It pretty much was the equivalent to the Atari 7800. Here's how it looks next to the Mark III, and then the Sega Genesis and the JVC Xeye. Here's the data recorder for the Mattel Aquarius. That's the way it was back then. See? It was nothing but an audio cassette. And if you think the floppy disks were slow, the audio cassettes were unreal. I mean, a half hour for a little 100K game. But it was still nice looking. You see, you know, they still did a good job of always putting high emphasis on looks. Back then, no matter how horrendous a game system was, they wanted it to look nice so that it could sell. Here's the Gameroom Telepong. Four-player. And here's The game system that changed it all. This is the Panasonic 3DO. This is the model fz1. Basically, this is when the power of the CD was finally being utilized. When they came out with the Need for Speed and Road Rash, it took you into a new dimension. Compare the Sega Genesis version of Road Rash to the 3DO. The 3DO is literally 100 times better. And it was a pretty nice looking system. This was $700 when it first came out. Unbelievable though. Okay, sayonara.